Hello, everyone. This is Adam Meister, the Bitcoin Meister, the Disrupt Meister. Welcome to the One Bitcoin Show. BitcoinToTheMoon.com. Today is December the 13th, 2017. Strong hand, buy and hold, long-term thinking. Failure is an option. It should be embraced here. Do not fear it, but protect against it. All right. First off, I want to say I'm wearing the same shirt from yesterday because the guy from Australia who sent this to me sent me an email. Yes, he just sent it out of the blue to me. Really nice guy. Obviously, his site is bitcointothemoon.com. I link to his pertinent links below. Always check out the links section below so you can get shirts like this from him. And yeah, he's going to send me a Medium event eventually. No rush, dude. You don't have to do that either. You know, he is really nice to send this. And he found my mailing address on his own. It's not the house I own, actually, but I do get mail here. And so good job. He's a good researcher, and he's a loyal viewer because he's just watching yesterday's show and saw that I'm wearing his shirt and everything. So again, check out the link section below, cryptohwwallet.com. You can get your Trezor there. All sorts of t-shirt links below, cryptography, obviously this dude too. I'll talk about this guy in a second. Hey, so I'm doing the show early today. I'm going to be on Andy Hoffman's show on the World Crypto Network. I'm also part of the World Crypto Network. I still haven't done my show on there yet. I'm part of their podcast every single day on their podcast. You can listen. I link to the podcast below. There's going to be more information about that on Friday on This Week in Bitcoin, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. We're going to talk about the podcast because we're going to have a very special guest on. I'm not going to name him right now, but Simon Dixon is going to be on. And so is the fundie from Australia, Nathan. He's going to be on. So we're going to have all sorts on Friday, 7 p.m. I know I'm confusing everyone because 10 a.m. today, I'm going to be on Andy Hoffman's show. Check out his link below, cryptogoldcentral.com. And then later today, I'm going to be on Ken Bozak's show. He's got a new show on Crush the Street or something like that. I don't even know. I'm going to be his debut guest. I think it's going to be taped at 8 p.m. today, so it'll be on in the future soon. So I just wanted to give everyone my schedule. So yeah, let's talk about failure in the Bitcoin space and in the real world. In the real world, people they don't want to. They're scared of failure now. Everyone gets bailed out. It's completely disgraceful. And it cost the savers. It costs the producers a lot of money to bail out all the losers, all the people just doing silly, foolish things. But we live in a society now that is not very, lack of a better word, not very manly. They just, they can't take failure. Failure is part of life. And, and again, everyone's different. Women don't like failure. If someone's going to fail, they have a motherly instinct to bail them out, to protect. A man can deal with the failure. And so here, and that's just a fact of life. I mean, you can argue it if you want to, but men deal a lot better with failure. It's hard. It's not fun to fail. You learn a lesson from it, though. You learn a lesson. And so here in the cryptocurrency space, in the Bitcoin space, failure is something that should be embraced because it totally, it wipes out it'll wipe out the bad actors eventually. It'll wipe out the bad coins eventually. It'll wipe out the bad projects, and people are going to have to learn. Now we have the 80%. They don't understand this. They love to prolong all the failures. They get into all the scams and all the craziness that's out there, and they prolong it. Don't be one of those people. Don't be a person who prolongs the inevitable, because inevitably these things will fail. But as we see in the space, there are plenty of bad projects that are getting pumped along, and just be careful. Be careful of failure, but at the same time, embrace failure and understand what failure is, so that you'll know how to avoid the projects that involve failure, and just enjoy it, because this is where the big boys play. And that if you do the right thing, you avoid failure, you're going to be very successful, and you'll just have to point out to the people who failed, hey, learn a lesson from that, or you're going to keep on failing. You're going to keep on buying Steam dollars, and you're going to keep on making me wealthier because I do the, you're speaking here. It's not me speaking. Well, I'm speaking also. But if you do the right thing, if you do the smart thing, if you think long term, you really decrease your chances of failure. If you're impulsive, you're going to fail in this space. And the failures are not bailed out here. And I think that is beautiful. I think that is awesome. And again, this is where the big boys play. So if you can't take it, stay in the political world or whatever, the taxation world, the statist world, where the failures will be bailed out, whether they be huge banks or whether they be people on, who just don't want to work, who just are lazy bums, who are just going to leech. I mean, it's either side of the spectrum there. So anyway, pound that like button if you like that. Let the people fail. So speaking of failures, and I guess a lack of understanding here, King of the Trolls, back back when everybody was scared of the hard fork, back in March, people were having him on their show. I even fell into that trap, and I let the guy on my show. And people warned me, and I was wrong. I was wrong to let him on my show. But this was in the early days. I mean, it's amazing that March and April are considered early days. But people didn't know what to expect. They wanted to give the guy a shot to explain himself. But when you have King of the Trolls on your show, at this point, you should have learned the lesson by now, okay? Because by the time we got close to the Bcash fork, no one was letting the guy on their shows anymore, because he just says the same thing over and over again. He takes the opportunity of a debate or an interview, and he uses his persuasion, which he's very good at. He says the same thing over and over and over again. He turns it into an infomercial. So I don't care how smart you are, and if you're going to do a technical analysis with him, or you're going to do whatever way you're going to take it up with him, you're going to fail, okay, at whatever you're trying to do. He is going to win because what he is trying to do is produce an infomercial. He's using you to produce an infomercial for Bcash, or for his complaining, for his so-called what he says on the Reddit is excluding him and censoring him. You're not censoring a guy because you don't let him on your show to do a free infomercial, okay? That's not censoring. You don't. If you have a show, if you have a newspaper, you have whatever, you don't have to write about someone. You don't have to give an infomercial free time. You don't have to do that. Get that through your head, people. So recently, King of the Trolls was given another infomercial. And it's just, it's embarrassing. If you're doing this, you're naive. You're in a sense, you're naive. And people, it's a legitimate criticism of Jimmy that people have always said that there's a certain type of naivete that Jimmy has sometimes. There is just something about, he's a smart dude. But on a certain level, he is very naive. After all this time, you haven't learned that the King of the Trolls is just using anyone that gives him the time of day, whether it be the mainstream media or whether it be you, just using you for a free infomercial. And in the end, he wins. When he gets his free infomercial, he wins. Okay? And so let him fail. Ignore him. Don't say his name. I don't even say the guy's name. And people are like, oh, why don't you say his name? I'm confused. If you're confused, you're a newbie then. Just learn about what's going on in the space, okay? I don't have time to explain everything. I've got like 500, 600 videos in my archives. Go watch them or something. Or email me at adam@tresorhelp.com. We can have a paid consultation. I'll explain everything to you in an hour. Trust me. And it'll be a great, we'll have a fun time. It'll be worth your while too if you don't understand at this point. But if you're one of the people out there that are like, oh, give the guy a chance. The guy has been given plenty of chances. He's just doing infomercials for Bcash and for himself and for whatever his next bad actor move is going to be. And here I'm giving, and it's going to pump again. Bcash they all pump. Bcash is nothing but a crypto-dividend altcoin, unfriendly for crypto-dividend altcoin of Bitcoin. That's all it is. If you want to give him a free time, then admit that you're prolonging a failure and that you're becoming you're giving someone a free infomercial. Let the dude fail. All right. Sticking with I'm trying to stick with one theme, failure, how it can be positive. If you let that all play out, it's gonna fail. It's gonna go away. But if you're gonna keep giving him time, the situation will be worse. And you're part of it. And you're naive if you don't understand that you're giving someone up free. And I admit, I was, in a sense, back in the day, even though we did not have as much experience with this dude and what he was trying to do then, I was naive. I thought, give him a platform. No, I was wrong. You got to be able to admit you were wrong and you failed. And so move on. Don't fail anymore and let him fail. Okay. So, yeah, you're a cog in someone's, you want to be a cog in someone's marketing plan? Or that's what it is. You become a cog in the dude's marketing plan. And this dude, he's hardcore. Don't underestimate the guy that you're being used. Oh, I'm not being used. You're being used. Don't be used. Oh, yeah, I should have said Happy Hanukkah, everybody. That's why I was holding up. And there's a dreidel nes gadol hayasham. A great miracle happened there. And we'll talk about Hanukkah and what it means in another show. So Coinbase should take this into. There's a guy here. I linked to anyway. Everything's linked to below. This is a tweet. Can you please start pressuring the exchanges to list Bitcoin price in Milla Bitcoin? Newcomers to the space might be put off by large price, unaware they can buy a fraction of it. Yes, they are unaware they can buy a fraction of it. We shouldn't be putting pressure on the exchanges. Well, we should, but we should focus on places like Coinbase. Okay, Coinbase is where Americans are buying their Bitcoin at, and their Litecoin and Ethereum apparently, and they're buying Ethereum and Litecoin partially because they think Bitcoin is too expensive. This is a fact, people. Newbies do not understand that you can get a fraction of a Bitcoin. So if Coinbase and competitors, the Coinbase and the exchanges, if they list the option to buy in middle of Bitcoin, or just say, note, you don't have to buy an entire Bitcoin. You don't have to pay $17,000. You can pay $170 for a hundredth of a Bitcoin. That would be helpful, and they would get more business. It would make things easier. So if someone wants to start a Twitter campaign, follow me on Twitter at TechBalt. I'll retweet it. Whatever. And so thank you. A lot of people have been talking about this on Twitter, that we've got to simplify it with millibits or whatever you want to break it down into. So again, crypto dividends, people are talking about crypto dividends again, at Bitcoin crypto dividends, because there's all these rumors again, and it's embarrassing. It's really embarrassing that there's some legitimate people out there, and I've mentioned this in previous shows, that are just repeating what like semi-mainstream Bitcoin media is saying. They're saying, oh, there's going to be something called Bitcoin uranium. There's going to be something called Bitcoin silver. They're just all repeating the same falsehoods, the same mindless dribble out there. And I know it's hard to keep track of all these things, but some of them are total jokes that have been proven to be total jokes a long time ago. And so there is that one site there's one site out there that does a pretty good job at showing what is going to be real, what's not going to be real, or what's going to be real. It's not perfect. Cryptomon.co, and I link to it below. So just check out the link section below. But again, I think I'm going to make a site that just lists which ones are real, which ones aren't real. But here's the thing. Here's the problem we have here. We have legitimate people or semi-legitimate people also who are saying, oh, there's so many Bitcoin crypto dividends. There are too many of them. It's diluting Bitcoin. Here's the fact. B Gold and B Cash. That is it. Those are the only ones that are live, that have been split, that are safe. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's it. So when you're saying there's so many out there, sure, there's B Diamond. Sure, Super BTC forked yesterday, apparently. But they're not, until they're on your Trezor, until they're on the Ledger Nano, until they're legitimate third parties splitting them, okay? They're not real yet. They're not real yet. So but again, there are even some that are complete jokes that are just fabrications out there. At least these ones have real websites that say they have futures markets. So there are futures markets out there. So you come to Adam's channel here. You come here and you follow me on TechBalt on Twitter if you want the update. But don't worry about this stuff too much, okay? A lot, I'll sort it out for you. I'll tell you when they're live. It's live. There's nothing you can do if one's going to end up a scam. You've got to be patient. You've got to let the failures fail, and you've got to let the real ones become the real ones, okay? And right now, the only real ones out there are Bcash and BGold. The others are at various stages, and you just can't worry about. If you start to think about them too much, you're going to be tempted to give away your private key to one of the scam, because a lot of scammers surround these rumors. And the other thing, these are, when they actually happen, this is serious stuff, okay? So when you have as a holder of Bitcoin, you're going to get a free crypto dividend, okay? You got free BGold, you've got free Bcash. That is serious stuff. If you have 100 Bitcoin, okay, and I know that's a lot, but I'm just using the numbers to simplify things here, okay? You have 100 Bitcoin. That means you got the equivalent of 10 free Bitcoin from Bcash, maybe even more, maybe 20. From BGold, at one point you could have gotten the equivalent of 5, because it was 5%. Still, it's around whatever, 2% now. 2 free Bitcoin, the equivalent of, okay? That's a lot of money. If these future ones, if they actually happen, people are like, oh, if it's only 1%, I'm going to ignore it. If it's only 1%, you're going to ignore it. Again, for a person who has 100 Bitcoin, they're going to get the equivalent of 1 free Bitcoin. If it's at 1%, one of these crypto dividends, at worth 1% of a Bitcoin. That's a lot of money. That's worth $17,000. Now, you're not supposed to value your wealth in money, but I'm breaking it down this way because $17,000, that's more than most people on earth make in a year, okay? And if you have 100 Bitcoin, you're going to get that for free. So again, you can scale it down to how many Bitcoin you have, but increasing your Bitcoin holdings by 1% by doing nothing is a serious thing. Because there are all these people that are complaining, oh, all these people have too much Bitcoin. Well, if you just sit there patiently and don't rush into everything, let the failures fail, let yourself succeed by being patient, you're going to win out and increase your holdings by 1%, maybe 2%, maybe 5%. Who knows? Just be patient. So this is serious. This is serious. I consider every one of them that went. So I want the ones that are legitimate. I want Trezor to be involved with this. I want Ledger Nano to be involved. I want the legitimate third parties to be involved. We all should be putting pressure on third parties to get their acts together to confirm what's legitimate and what's not. It's not our responsibility here, because some of this stuff is technically very complex, and we don't want to, and we do not want to risk our precious Bitcoin on playing around with these things. Okay. So we got to, unfortunately, in this situation, we're going to have to rely on some trusted third parties. Now, that's not what cryptocurrency is generally about, but we got to be real careful here when we're dealing with private keys and our Bitcoin. We got to be real careful. And there's some best practices to take that we've all learned. The best steps to take on the road to splitting your Bitcoin into BGold, into Bcash, and maybe Super BTC is next, because Super BTC apparently. Now, the Huobi, and I linked to this below, and I should get into the specific thing in a second. Okay, hang on. I'm going to talk about Huobi in a second. Where are we? Okay, so enough about crypto dividends today. Again, I'm going to have to create a site that, it's everyone coming here. I appreciate the people coming here to learn more about them, to learn the latest names and stuff. But what I'm learning is that it's great to know what's next, to just have them ready to go. And I'm going to talk about one that's next in a second. So again, I linked to bitcointothemoon.com. The guy who gave me the shirt, it's below. I linked to some other links. He's out of Melbourne, Australia. Thanks a lot again. Remember to pound that like button, subscribe to this channel, check out my Twitter at TechBalt, and check out the links below. Here is from Super BTC, Huobi Pro will distribute super BTC soon. All right, so if you happen to have Bitcoin, because they already forked, they said if you happen to have your Bitcoin at Huobi, if you're in China, then great, you're going to get free super BTC soon. So they say. Now there is something called United Bitcoin. United Bitcoin is, it seems like it's by some Americans. It's out of China too a little bit. I do not fully understand it. You can go to ub.com and check it out. It forked on the 12th. It looks real legitimate. I mean, this is not just some dude who made a Twitter account or who made a Reddit post or something like that, and everyone says it's real. No, this is real. United Bitcoin is going to be real. They said they forked on the 12th. Let's wait until it's available on, Trezor, and everyone can do this. And it's unfortunate. I don't like this third-party aspect, reliance on the third party. But we had to be real careful. We need a company that specializes in crypto dividends. We really need that now. We really need that. And right now, it's like it boils down to Trezor and Ledger, which is interesting. Or if you happen to have your coins on an exchange, which is not good, or at Coinbase, you got to rely on them to credit you with these new coins. But ub.com, United Bitcoin, it looks legitimate. I know Garzik has something to do with it, right? I don't care who has anything to do with it. If they're bad actors or whatever, if it's going to be a free crypto dividend, if it's going to come out, they have a timeline on it. I haven't explored it. It's linked to below. ub.com is obviously a really great domain name to own. They could sell that for millions. That's pretty amazing. But yeah, check that out below if you want to learn more about that, if you're interested. But again, don't get any scams that are involved with this type of thing. Very careful with your private keys. Anyway, here is a great tweet by Charlie Shrem that really sums up the situation out there in the Bitcoin cryptocurrency land. It's easy to be a crypto expert with private trading groups when everything is rising. Talk to the people who were around in 2011 or even 2014. They will tell you what's up. Most of these experts showed up less than a year ago. Yes, people, beware of that. Most of these so-called experts have showed up in the last few months or so. So be very careful. These altcoin flavor of the months that they're telling you to buy, they're wrong. Buy and hold Bitcoin, strong hand. All right, remember, at Steemit, people, again, you're saying you don't have enough Bitcoin. Go to Steemit, start a Steemit page. Follow me at Bitcoin Meister there. This video is live there right now. I know I've been talking about Steemit.com a lot lately. I think it's an interesting platform, and I just want people to be able to get. People are saying Bitcoin is so expensive now. Well, here's a way to get free Bitcoin. You get your Steem, and then you sell it for Bitcoin. That's what you do. Your Steem backed dollars. You don't buy Steem with it. You buy Bitcoin with it. You get free cryptocurrency by posting and by upvoting on this Steemit.com site. Will Steemit.com survive? I don't know. Let the failures fail. Let them fail. But don't. But you're being a failure when you're buying Steem dollars or when you're buying Steem. You're just prolonging those things, which I have little confidence in. The Steemit.com website, that's to be determined if that's something that's very interesting to be involved in right now. And hey, as long as you can safely get your free coins from there and turn them into Bitcoin, you're winning. You're not failing. But always be aware of failure. Failure weeds out the weak hands, baby. I love it. Failure is a weed out mechanism that is strong in the cryptocurrency space. But the 80% prolong, they know how to prolong it, even in this space. But at least there are no bailouts here. At least there are no bailouts in Bitcoin. That is the beauty. That is why you got to love failure. And if you fail, move on, because that's not the end, baby. You start again. That's what life is really about. You fail and you learn from it. Now, if you don't learn, you just keep repeating the same mistakes and you're just part of the 80%. You just keep fueling the wealth of the 20%. So, okay, rumor. Here is a rumor out here. FinanceMagnates.com. Someone linked to this in my comments section. It says CBOE and CME Group mulling Ethereum and Litecoin futures. I don't know if this is true, but I did mention on yesterday's show, I quoted a Vinny Lingham tweet, and I extrapolated upon it. And I said that, yeah, these futures markets for Bitcoin might lead the futures markets for Ethereum and Litecoin. I didn't think Ethereum because, well, that's a little riskier. Litecoin, definitely. Litecoin is more stable. Ethereum had that bailout. And we're not going to get into the DAO thing now. But again, Ethereum is huge. It's loved by corporates, people. So whatever. If they want to do, if there are futures markets from CBOE and CME, if they get involved with Ethereum and Litecoin, whoa, they're going to pump too. But I mean, the whole Bitcoin will keep pumping too. I mean, it's just amazing. It just keeps building and building and building. All right, so keep that rumor in mind. I am not a speculator on Litecoin and Ethereum, though. I don't give a darn. I mean, I think Ethereum is I think Litecoin is a great backup for Bitcoin. I think Ethereum is interesting if you already hold it. It's easy to distribute Ethereum crypto dividends over Ethereum. That is very interesting. We have that EMO coming up on Ethereum. I linked to that in yesterday's show. Check out yesterday's show. Check out my archives, people. It's linked to below. All right, Beautyon has a tweet that's out there. And eBay and Facebook Messenger are both going Bitcoin. Now, I don't know if that's true or not, but he's saying that. If Facebook Message does it right, it will be highly significant. Demand for Bitcoin will go through the ceiling, and overnight, Facebook will become one of the biggest banks in the history of the world. The Great Onboarding is well underway. Now, again, I don't know if eBay and Facebook are close to really adopting Bitcoin in any meaningful way. I do not know that. But if they did do that, he is absolutely correct. But I want to take another approach to this, because logically they would want to, if they're going to adopt a cryptocurrency, they're going to want it to be Bitcoin. It's the biggest, it's the best. But they could always be convinced by someone out there to adopt something else. And I have mentioned this before, and everyone who keeps giving him a free infomercial makes him more legitimate. So don't be surprised if a company of that caliber, and I mentioned this before, and again, I mentioned this before, did Bcash. They could be convinced to do Bcash, adopt Bcash by King of the Trolls. And then you'll see a huge Bcash pump. There's going to be a huge Bcash pump again. We all know it's going to happen. Again, what's keeping it from going to $2,000? Because Litecoin all of a sudden goes up to $400 just out of the blue. Out of the blue. And, you know, there are reasons for it, because people are buying up Litecoin because they think it's a cheap version of Bitcoin. They don't understand, all these newbies. That's part of it. But then it's just pure speculation starts piling in too. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy eventually. People are pumping it, and your Charlie Lee did a good job of pumping it, but King of the Trolls is a much better marketer than him. Much better marketer. He'll admit that. I'm sure Charlie Lee would admit that King of the Trolls is a much better marketer. Charlie Lee doesn't try to go on your show and do a free infomercial, for God's sakes. Charlie Lee is a legitimate guest on it. He's great to have on a show. He's not using you as a cog in his marketing machine, because he doesn't have a marketing machine. He's an honest dude, Charlie Lee. But King of the Trolls, total infomercial dude. But anyway, it will pump again. It will pump. But again, you're going to have when that happens, you can't be like, oh, it's the end of the world, Bitcoin. No, have a strong hand. Let the failures fail. Because every time Bcash pump, eventually it dumps. It's not sustainable. We've seen that many a time. But it's a pump coin, and it will pump. This is all cyclical. Ethereum will pump again. Litecoin will. Maybe, in 2 months, there'll be the great Ethereum threat again. Who knows? Yeah, if Ethereum has a futures market on CBOE and CME, maybe people will start saying, oh, Ethereum is much better than Bitcoin. That's the next thing. Although we already went through that in March or April or whatever it was. But whatever, it's all cyclical. That's why you just got to have a strong hand with your Bitcoin. And just wait. If you're a veteran like I am, you've seen it all before. You gotta wait. And you gotta let the failures fail. All the people who are like, I'm turning all my Bitcoin into Ethereum. Let them fail. I mean, that's great. Let them buy your Ethereum that you happen to have for a lot. Let them pay a high Bitcoin for it, and you just get more Bitcoin. It's about getting more Bitcoin, people. Value your wealth in Bitcoin. Does anyone value their wealth in Ethereum? Seriously. Does anyone value their wealth in Bcash? Does anyone value their wealth in Litecoin? Let them fail. Let the failures fail. All right. What else do we have here? with something I wanted to read. All right, this is from, I can't pronounce his name. It's linked to below. Lightning will do to Bitcoin. This is a Lightning Network, he says. Lightning Network will do to Bitcoin what masternodes did to Dash. It'll lock up at most of the circulating Bitcoins, shrinking the available supply to such a low level that I am scared of thinking how insanely high the price of each Bitcoin will need to be. Now, some people argued on that thread that maybe he's exaggerating, that not as much Bitcoin will be locked up due to the Lightning Network, that lockup might not be the right terminology to use, or the comparison to the Dash masternodes might not be the correct comparison. But hey, man, if less Bitcoin is circulating, I like it. It makes it more scarce. I like it. But remember, Bitcoin can be divided down into such little quantities that it will work. But the more holders there are, the more scarce it is in the market, the more it will go up in value. And I like that, because it's about gold and hold to me, baby. Gold and hold. It is the gold. It is the world reserve cryptocurrency. It is. Let's deflate the thing. Let's hold it. Let's hold a lot of it back, so not a lot of it is out there circulating around. Again, it's divisible to such small quantities that the system will be able to work. It's just going to be like little teeny bits of Bitcoin. All right. Finally, two final notes here. Oh God, this show is gone. We're not going to do the Adam. In a democracy, we're not going to do a health thing today. In a democracy, this is the end of the Bitcoin part. I'm not going to go talk a little bit, but it's in a democracy, the exceptions do not count or matter. Think about that for a second. That's it. If it's 51% majority. If you had a legitimate opinion, you get voted out. That's it. You're done. And you cannot secede either in these democracies. The thing about Bitcoin, it's not a democracy. If you don't like what the majority says, you can get out. You can get out and just start your own Bitcoin. But there's risk. No one's going to bet. If you fork away, if you secede, you're putting yourself at risk there. Failure is an option. You've got to be prepared to fail. But again, if you think you're right, then maybe you're leaving the other people behind to fail. So in a democracy, the failures constantly bail themselves out, because the masses, eventually there are going to be so many failures in a democracy, they're going to vote to tax the winners. And that's always what happens. The United States was not meant to be a democracy. It's a constitutional republic. Okay. But it is becoming more and more like a democracy. It's unfortunate. And the people, the government officials love it that way. They love that the majority can shut up, can overpay. It's a mob rule. It's mob rule with the suit on. Okay. That's all it is. And you cannot leave. Unfortunately, in a democracy, in a country like the United States, which borders between a democracy and a constitutional republic, whatever you want to call it, you can't secede. You can't start your own country. They don't let you do that. That's not it. They're going to come with guns if you say, no, I'm not part of this anymore. I'm not paying taxes. I have a different idea. I'm an exception. I don't believe in this. No, you have no say. The losers voted you out. The failures voted your voice away. You're going to pay the failures now. In Bitcoin, that's not how it works. The failures do not rule. They do not rule. You can start your own, and that is the beauty. The failures are weeded out here. They're punished here. They're not given the power to outvote you, because there's always the option of opting out. It's not a democracy. Bitcoin is not a democracy. It's a place that failures, you're going to have to learn. You're not going to win by being a failure in Bitcoin. Anyway, think about all that I just said. Another great thing about Bitcoin. Another bad thing about democracy. Democracy ain't all it's cracked out to be, people. Be very careful. If you're an exception, if you have a different opinion, you will be silenced. You will be voted down by the failures, by the mob with the suit on. I'm Adam Meister, the Bitcoin Meister, this Rotten Meister. Remember to subscribe to this channel, like this video, share this video. Check out the notes section below. I will say hello to you in the chat. And yeah, do not fear being on your own. Never fear being on your own. That's another thing about democracy. You're put into a situation where you're encouraged to not be a free thinker, not be to fit with the mob, to go with the mob. That's not what life is about. That's not what Bitcoin's about. I'll see you later.